How do you fight back against a narcissistic ex in a custody battle? So a narcissist does not fight fair, and that's because they're not actually fighting for the kids. They're fighting to control you. Now, one of the hardest dynamics in all of this is it's best to cut narcissists out of our lives, but if we have kids with them, they're going to use that and use it against us to manipulate us at the expense of your kids. And this is one of the biggest weapons a narcissist has against you in a custody battle. The number one thing that we see is going to be false accusations. And this is going to be to paint you as dangerous, unfit, and abusive towards them or your kids. You have to be able to stop it immediately. You can't use reason or rationale. As soon as that comes up, you are in a court case. Just see it as that and start handling it in that way. The next thing is weaponizing your kids. They're going to turn them against you, make them afraid, and more than likely, they're going to start forcing them to choose sides by feeding them lies. This ties into lying to your own children about you and why you guys split up. It is in the narcissist's nature to start poisoning their kids' minds so that they question you. In their story and their narrative to the kids, you're going to be this terrible person that made them have to do this crazy struggle, and they're such an amazing parent to do that. They might even go so far to say that they've forgave for all of this because they're such a great, noble person. Part of the horrible play in all of this is you're probably devastated in all sorts of ways. You might seem depressed, and rightfully so, or obviously the separation or not seeing your kids hit you hard, and your kids are going to notice that, and you want to tell them the truth. Don't put your kids in the middle of this. It psychologically damages them. It could affect you in court. Just don't play this game. If there are lies being said about you, just say they're not true, and you're not going to discuss these things. Within my groups, we actually have therapists that come on and talk with guys who are going through this, and there's a much better script that they give and talk to guys about how to approach these different difficulties. Just don't get sucked into that game. So how do we fight back in all of this? Well, if you have a court case going on and you're not too deep, like you're just starting out, you need to learn how to fight back legally. If you're already knee deep into that case and you have your back foot against you with false accusations, you need to learn how to first defend those and see that your custody case is going to come after that, and that could be a huge delay. Either way, where you're just starting out or you're already in it, or maybe you've already had a ruling, I want you to learn as much about the courts as possible. Learn the right ways to discredit false allegations. It's not as simple as he said, she said, or some witnesses here and there. You need to get around communities of people, men or women, who have fought false allegations and won. It is possible. It's very difficult. We do it all the time in my groups. It's going to take every ounce of your soul in it, but it is possible. And don't buy into this whole thing that everybody just has to be a victim in the courts. The courts are going to make you a victim if you know nothing about it. Start learning how to co-parent with a narcissist. Don't talk trash on them. Don't go into the drama that they so want to have with you. They're better at it than you. They're making up the story and script for you. If they are master manipulators, don't step into their game. And this is easier said than done because it's probably part of the dynamic of your relationship. Start communicating with them in a non-emotional way that is fact-based. The emergencies that they implant into their entire lifestyle or their dynamic with you, don't respond to them. If you do have a parenting plan, stick straight to that. Do exactly what it says. Nothing more, nothing less. You need to seek support. This is something you should just never do alone. It's just too dangerous. So as I always talk about, I built a community around this. It's been around for almost 20 years. A lot of the guys in our groups are very experienced with this. But look, there's free groups. There's things like Al-Anon, which is free. That's usually for a family member that's an alcoholic. There's also adult children of alcoholics, or ACOA. This includes dysfunctional families as well, and it doesn't exclude you if you don't have an alcoholic family member. Narcissists fall into that dysfunctional family part. There are also men and women support groups. Usually they're not so good, but a lot of the guys in our group belong to different ones that are very good. I want to add one last really important thing in here, that if you are in a court battle and you're not defending false allegations right now, what you need to start doing is make the courts toxic for them, meaning that they can't lie. They take losses. It gets expensive. Every time they go to court, they get embarrassed or they're out of power in these sorts of ways. This can really, really shut them up. And if you do those things, it'll make them stop in the courts, and the courts can get really, really dangerous for you. Now, you can't change the narcissist. You can't change their game, but you can outlast them if you do a lot of the things that a lot of guys in our groups have done. And through this, you can protect your kids in the process as best you can. If there's going to be one dysfunctional parent, make sure that one is functional. You can properly properly communicate, emotionally communicate, and give a great ecosystem for that child to grow up in. And if this is something you're really fighting, whatever platform you're watching this on, watch some of my other videos on defeating a narcissist in a court battle, co-parenting with a narcissist. I got tons of information on it. Stay strong, stay alive, because your kids need you.